Lord, show me right from wrong.
A question from Canada about Gog and Magog, and I have to be very fast now. The Arabs in Mecca did not know how to deal with a man from amongst their midst who was truthful. They called him Al-Amin, now declared that he's a prophet of Allah. So they sent a delegation to the northern city of Yathrib, where there's a large community of Jews and rabbis. How can we tell whether he is indeed a prophet of God, like unto Moses and Abraham and so on? The rabbis responded by saying, ask him these three questions which only a prophet can answer. No historian can answer it. No scholar can answer it. Only a prophet. And if he answers them correctly, then you will know he is indeed a prophet. But the rabbis did not give them the answers. They only gave them the questions. Question number one was, ask him about the great traveler who traveled to the two ends of the land. And question two was about a cave, and question three was about the roof. But we're not dealing with that now. We're dealing with question one. Allah repeated the question in the Quran when He sent down the answer. And the answer is to be found in Sourate Al Kahf. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. And they question thee. The rabbis are questioning thee, O Muhammad, that was about Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn. Someone who impacts on two qarns. Two qarnayn. A qarn can mean a horn, or a qarn can mean an age or an epoch or a generation. Which one is it? The one who impacts, who possesses two horns, or who impacts on two ages or two generations? Which one is it? The answer is to be found in the Quran. That every time Allah uses the word qarn in the Quran, He always means generation or age or epoch, and never means horn. So Dhul Qarnayn is someone who impacts on two ages, two epochs, two generations. He's someone who has faith. He's someone who's endowed with power. Allah gave him power. And he has the power to pursue whatever objective he chooses to pursue. And so he travels in the direction of the setting of the sun, which is meaning traveling west, until he came to a body of water. And that body of water is dark and murky. Dark and murky. The commentators of the Quran, I don't have the time to give you all the evidence and produce all the arguments to identify the body of water for you. I simply have to say to you, the commentators of the Quran, like Ibn Kathir, recognize it as the Black Sea. The Black Sea, yes, the Black Sea, and the Crimea, the peninsula called Crimea, is located in the Black Sea, commanding the whole of the Black Sea. You control Crimea, you control the Black Sea. So there, at that body of water, he came across a people. And Allah asks him in the Quran, how are you going to treat them? You have power, you have faith. When power rests on the foundations of faith, how is power used? When power rests on the foundations of faith, how is power used? Dhul Qarnayn responds and says, those who are guilty of acts of dhulm, wickedness, oppression, injustice, I will use my power to punish them. And when they return to you, you will also punish them. And so when power rests on foundations of faith, a world order is established which will be in harmony with the world above. And then Dhul Qarnayn went on to say that those who have faith and are righteous in conduct, I will reward them and treat them nicely. So a world order based on power which rests on the foundations of faith will be a world order which will assist the religious way of life, assist and help and protect those who have righteousness of conduct and faith in their hearts. Then Dhul Qarnayn traveled in the opposite direction. And obviously, if he stops here at a body of water, then over there he stops at a body of water as well, because he goes to the rising of the sun. He doesn't travel endlessly, no. And there he comes across a people, لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. A people for whom we had provided nothing to cover them other than what they had. Meaning, and Allah knows best, a people living the primitive way of life. Dhul Qarnayn had the wisdom, the kindness, the compassion to leave them undisturbed, leave them as they were. And then Dhul Qarnayn, and Allah says, we understood his response. And then Dhul Qarnayn traveled in a third direction, but the rabbis had only asked about two. But the Quran provided the third direction, because Allah knew this is what the rabbis wanted, not the first and the second, they wanted the third. And he came to a mountain, range of mountains, with a pass between them, one pass between them. That was the Black Sea, therefore that's the Caspian Sea. And in between the Black and the Caspian Sea is an unbroken chain of mountains, the Caucasus Mountains. Yes. And in between the Caucasus Mountains there's only one pass called the Darial Gorge. And there he came across a people, Dhul Qarnayn, لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَا يَكَادُونَ يَفْقَهُونَ قَوْلًا, whose language could not be understood. They had a unique language, different from all other languages in that area. That's the Georgian language up to this day. When they were able to communicate with each other, the people said to Dhul Qarnayn, إِنَّ يَأْجُوجَ وَمَأْجُوجَ مُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ, that Gog and Magog are committing fasad in our land. Fasad is that which corrupts to the extent that it can destroy. Fasad is that which corrupts to the extent that it can destroy. Fasad. And Allah reserved the greatest punishment of all in the hudud for fasad. Can you help us build a barrier to protect us from Gog and Magog? We are prepared to pay you. Gog and Magog, Nabi Muhammad now alayhi salatu wasalam tells us, Gog and Magog, not only are they people who commit fasad, but only human beings can commit fasad. Angels cannot commit fasad, no. And the jinn cannot commit fasad. We'll see why. We'll see why in a moment. It cannot be the jinn here. It has to be human beings. The Prophet said about Gog and Magog, they are ummah of Banu Adam, human beings. Not some strange creatures living underneath the earth with 3,000 ears and 4,000 noses. You dum-dum? No, they're human beings. Inna Ya'juj wa Ma'juj mufsiduna fil ard. Gog and Magog are committing fasad in our land. Can you help us? We'll pay you. Build a barrier. Dhul Qarnayn said, I don't need your money. No. Just help me with manpower. And instead of building a barrier, he built a radam. Not a sad, he built a radam. And it was in the shape of the size of a shell. Sadafain. The two sides of the mountain were like Sadafain, the two sides of a shell. And he built a dam. And now when he built it with blocks of iron, and that's where you find raw iron, there in Georgia, by that gorge, he then put molten copper on top of it to protect it from rust. And Gog and Magog could neither penetrate nor could they scale. They could neither penetrate nor could they scale. A jinn can fly over. That's why. A jinn, you can't prevent a jinn by building a barrier. He can fly over. Jinn travel through the sky easily. Jinn travel to different dimensions of space and time. So, Gog and Magog can't be jinn, they have to be human beings. They can't be angels, they have to be human beings. When will you wake up? Human beings don't live in the interior of the earth, nobody, They live on earth. وَلَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُسْتَقَرٌ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَى حِينٍ. Human beings live on the surface of the earth. That's where they normally live. So don't come with this nonsense that they're down in the interior of the earth. No. After he built the barrier, and now Gog and Magog could neither penetrate nor could they scale, he says, هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. This is an act of kindness from my Lord. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّ جَاءَ لَهُ دَكَّاءَ وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّ حَقًّا. Well, when that time comes, آخِرُ الزَّمَانِ, of which my Lord has warned, Allah is going to cause this barrier to be broken up, destroyed, come in ruins. And at that time, the warning of my Lord will come to pass. That's in the Quran, that's Surat Al Kahf. What does it mean then? Qarnayn, 2 ages. Answer, when the barrier comes down and Gog and Magog are released, then you have to connect the dots. You have to be able to interpret the Quran, that an age is going to come which is going to be the opposite of the previous age of Dhul Qarnayn. That Gog and Magog are going to have power, because the Hadith al-Qudsi, Allah says, I've created creatures of mind so powerful that none but I can destroy them. Sahih Muslim. But they use the power not like Dhul Qarnayn, who punishes the oppressor. They use the power to oppress. That's precisely what the world experienced when modern Western civilization came into being. You don't believe me? Wait until you are in the grave, and then you remember Imran Hosein. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. When Gog and Magog are released, they will use power to oppress. Instead of using power to assist, to punish the oppressor, they will use power to oppress. And they will use power to target those who have faith and who would live lives of righteousness. Yes, that is the second age, the age when Gog and Magog are released. But when Gog and Magog are released, then in the region of the Black Sea, power will once again emerge. And that power will rest on foundations of faith. That is the second of the 2 currents. The region of the Black Sea, which will rest on the foundations of faith, will again do to Gog and Magog what was done the first time. Do you understand me? Is power now being restored in the region of the Black Sea? Look at Crimea and see. Yes, power is coming back again to the region of the Black Sea. And the power which is returning to the Black Sea is power which is resting on the foundations of faith, you dum-dum. It's so difficult for me. I have taught this subject so many times, but my critics can't understand. No, they can't. That power is being restored in the region of the Black Sea. And it is power which is resting on the foundations of faith. Who then are Gog and Magog? You know who that power is in the Black Sea, because Russia just now recovered Crimea. The biggest setback that the Judeo-Christian Zionist Alliance ever achieved in their 100 years of history, since the Zionist movement was established in 1897, was the loss of Crimea. Russia recovered Crimea. Russia is now returning to Orthodox Christian roots and foundations, and we are pleased about that. You are displeased. You are displeased, but we are pleased about it. Thank Allah for that. You can go your way. Yes, go your way. We are proud and happy that our Christian brothers are returning to Christianity, in Orthodox Christianity, yes. And that they are recovering the Christian way of life. Over there in your part of the world, a man can marry a man and get a marriage certificate. But not in 100 years, not in Russia. that Russia is returning away from communism, away from the Soviet Union, which was created by the Zionist Alliance, returning to Christianity, and we are happy about that. We are proud about that. We celebrate the fact that our Christian brothers are returning to Christianity. And that is where power is located today. Yes. Power is returning to the region of the Black Sea. I don't need to mention the name of Putin. No! He can go and someone else can come to replace him. That will not change the fact that power is being restored to the region of the Black Sea. And that power is resting on the foundations of faith. And that power is being used to punish the oppressor and to seek to help those who are oppressed and those who have faith and who will live lives of righteousness. And so in the same way that Gog and Magog were checkmated the first time with the barrier, we are saying to you that Gog and Magog are going to be checkmated again one more time. So who are Gog and Magog? Before we end, let's answer that question. Who are Gog and Magog? That's what the rabbis wanted to know. The answer is located in the Quran in Sourate Al Kahf, but you have to interpret the Quran. The Quran of a town or a city, Qarya. And he destroyed that town or city. And having destroyed it, he expelled the people of that town or city. And having expelled them, he put a ban on them that they can never return to reclaim that town as their own. وَحَرَامٌ بَعْدَ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. No, they can never return to reclaim that town as their own. No. Hatta. Until when? إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجَ وَمَأْجُوجَ. Until Gog and Magog are released. Not ba'atha, when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, Allah sends ba'atha. That is not ba'atha, to send. This is futiha, to release. Will you understand, you dum-dum? These critics of mine, they will never understand. When Gog and Magog are released, إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ. When Gog and Magog are released, meaning Allah has brought down the barrier. Brought down the barrier, and Gog and Magog are released. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. And they spread out in all directions. Then this power resting on the foundations of godlessness, which are used to oppress, will take over the world, and you have the world order of Gog and Magog, which is what we have today. Then you see these people being brought back to the town. Which town is it? Answer, Imran Hosein is saying to you, and I'm not the only one. My teacher, Dr. Maulana Muhammad Fadl Rahman Ansari, said the same thing. Dr. Muhammad Iqbal said the same thing. I'm not the only one. Jerusalem. When the Jews are brought back to Jerusalem, to recover it as their own, and the state of Israel is restored in the Holy Land, then you know those who brought them back are Gog and Magog. That is your modern Western civilization, a Judeo-Christian alliance which controls power in modern Western civilization. They are Gog and Magog. You don't believe me? Then wait until you're questioned in the grave. I thank you. May Allah put it in your hearts to be able to understand the Quran, and may you make the effort with sincerity in your hearts to study the Quran. But you will not be able to study the Quran will not open its pages to you until you recite the Quran regularly. And the Quran cannot be translated to any other languages. No, it cannot. There's only one Quran, and it is in Arabic. Alhamdulillah for that. So if you are to recite the Quran, it has to be in Arabic. If you do not know how to study, to read it in Arabic, go and learn. And Allah will make it easy for you who make the effort. This program will be repeated on Thursday, inshallah, Thursday night at 9 p.m. I pray that you will recite the Quran regularly every day, and try to recite the whole Quran. If you never hear from me again, remember this. Try to recite the whole Quran cover to cover at least once a month. And if you remain faithful to the Quran, one day Allah will open the Quran for you. And from the Quran, you'll get the guidance with which to be able to respond to the awesome challenges of the modern age. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.